On this day in history, we remember the remarkable individuals who shaped our world. Welcome to Who Died Today in History, where we honor their legacies. From artists to leaders, their impact lives on. If you find their stories meaningful, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay connected.
Thank you to all our amazing channel members for your generous support.
Some legends feel larger than life. André the Giant was one of the rare few who truly was, in body, spirit, and lasting memory. André René Roussimoff was born on May 19, 1946 in Grenoble, France. As a child, his growth quickly set him apart. By his teens, it was clear something extraordinary was happening. A condition later identified as acromegaly caused his body to grow at an astonishing rate, turning an ordinary farm boy into a once-in-a-generation figure. His rise to fame began in the world of professional wrestling. Billed as the eighth wonder of the world, André became an international attraction in the 1970s and 1980s. Promoters didn't need gimmicks. His presence alone filled arenas. One of the most iconic moments in wrestling history came at WrestleMania 3 in 1987, when he faced Hulk Hogan before over 93,000 fans. When Hogan lifted and slammed André, the crowd erupted. It became a defining image of sports entertainment. Beyond wrestling, André reached mainstream audiences through film, most memorably as the gentle giant Fezzik in The Princess Bride, a role that revealed his warmth and surprising tenderness. Away from the spotlight, André was quieter than many expected. Despite his intimidating size, friends described him as shy, polite, and deeply kind. He loved farming, animals, and simple routines. Fame followed him everywhere, yet he often felt isolated, trapped in a body that made ordinary life difficult. He once said the hardest part wasn't being famous, it was never being able to blend in. On January 27, 1993, André the Giant died in Paris, France. He was just 46 years old. The cause was congestive heart failure, a complication related to his lifelong condition. He had traveled to France to attend his father's funeral, a quiet and personal moment that became his own final chapter. News of his death spread quickly. Wrestlers, actors, and fans around the world shared stories, tears, and disbelief. Tributes poured in, not just for a performer, but for a man who carried his burden with dignity. Today, André the Giant remains a symbol of awe and humanity combined. He is remembered not only for his size, but for his heart. A true giant, never measured by height alone. Late-night television once found its conscience, its vulnerability, and its sharpest wit in a man unafraid to walk away on live television. Jack Harold Paar was born on May 1, 1918, in Canton, Ohio. Orphaned at a young age, he was raised by relatives, learning early how humor could soften pain and command attention. That instinct never left him. His rise began in radio and film, but history remembers him for transforming late-night television. In 1957, Jack Paar took over The Tonight Show and changed everything. Before him, late night was light banter and polite jokes. Paar brought intimacy. He talked about his feelings. He challenged guests. He let silences breathe. One unforgettable moment came in 1960 when he abruptly walked off his own show after NBC censored a joke. "I don't know what I said," he told the audience, "but I know I won't say it again." The incident made headlines and proved television hosts could have principles. He returned weeks later to massive ratings, cementing his influence. By the time he left the show in 1962, he had paved the way for Johnny Carson and everyone who followed. Off camera, Paar was deeply sensitive and often conflicted about fame. He battled depression and anxiety long before such struggles were openly discussed. Despite his sharp humor, he disliked the spotlight and frequently expressed discomfort with celebrity culture. Writing, not performing, was where he felt most at ease. Words mattered more to him than applause. On January 27, 2004, Jack Paar died in Greenwich, Connecticut. He was 85 years old. The cause was complications from a stroke, following years of declining health. His death quietly closed the chapter on a man who reshaped television without ever fully loving it. The response was immediate and respectful. Fellow broadcasters called him a pioneer. Clips resurfaced, old interviews were replayed. Viewers remembered not punchlines, but honesty. He had made late night feel human. Today, Jack Paar is remembered as the bridge between comedy and confession. He proved that television hosts could be thoughtful, emotional, even vulnerable. In a medium built on noise, he dared to pause, and sometimes the bravest voice is the one that knows when to fall silent. Her voice did not just sing faith, it carried hope, grief, resistance, and the sound of a people refusing to be erased. Mahalia Jackson was born on October 26, 1911, in New Orleans, Louisiana. Growing up in a deeply religious household, she was surrounded by gospel music from childhood. Even as a young girl, her powerful voice stood out in the church, strong enough to silence a room. Her rise to fame began when she moved to Chicago during the Great Migration. There, she joined the Greater Salem Baptist Church and quickly became a sensation in gospel circles. In the 1930s and 1940s, her recordings of songs like "Move On Up a Little Higher" sold millions, an unheard-of achievement for gospel music. She refused offers to sing secular music, even when it meant turning down large sums of money. By the 1950s, Mahalia Jackson was internationally known, performing on television, at Carnegie Hall, and before presidents. Beyond music, she was deeply involved in the civil rights movement. A lesser-known but powerful detail is her close friendship with Martin Luther King Jr. She often performed at civil rights events, including the March on Washington in 1963. Just before King delivered his "I Have a Dream" speech, it was Mahalia who called out to him, urging him to speak from the heart. He listened. Mahalia Jackson died on January 27, 1972. She was 60 years old. After years of struggling with heart disease and diabetes, she passed away from heart failure in Chicago, Illinois, the city that had shaped her destiny. The reaction was immediate and profound. Thousands attended her funeral. Gospel songs filled the streets. Leaders, musicians, and ordinary people mourned together. Martin Luther King Jr. had already been gone for years, but his words were read at her service, calling her a blessing to the world. Today, Mahalia Jackson is remembered as the Queen of Gospel. Her voice remains unmatched, not just for its power, but for its truth. She proved that sacred music could change history, inspire justice, and speak to the soul across generations. Some voices entertain the moment. Hers still moves the spirit long after the final note fades. His voice was never the loudest, yet it echoed through marches, classrooms, and campfires, carrying songs that refused to stay silent. Pete Seeger was born on May 3, 1919, in New York City. He grew up in a deeply musical family surrounded by folk traditions, classical music, and political discussion. As a teenager, he discovered the banjo, an instrument that would become inseparable from his identity. His rise to prominence began in the 1940s when he became part of the American folk revival. Seeger helped form the Weavers, whose recordings of songs like "Goodnight Irene" and "On Top of Old Smoky" reached the top of the charts. At a time when folk music was rarely mainstream, his sound reached millions. In the 1950s and 1960s, his influence expanded beyond radio and records. He wrote and popularized songs such as "If I Had a Hammer," Where Have All the Flowers Gone, and Turn, 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 songs that became anthems for civil rights, labor movements, and opposition to war. Away from the spotlight, Pete Seeger lived a modest life. A lesser-known side of him was his deep environmental activism. He spent decades working to clean the polluted Hudson River, helping launch projects that eventually brought wildlife and life back to its waters. For Seeger, music and responsibility always walked hand in hand. Pete Seeger died on January 27, 2014. He was 94 years old. He passed away of natural causes at a hospital in New York City, surrounded by family. His death marked the end of an era, but not the end of his songs. The reaction was widespread and deeply emotional. Musicians, activists, and world leaders paid tribute. Bruce Springsteen, Bob Dylan, and countless others spoke of his generosity and influence. Vigils, sing-alongs, and memorial concerts erupted across the country. People did what Pete Seeger always encouraged. They sang together. Today, Pete Seeger is remembered not just as a musician, but as a moral compass. His songs continue to be taught, shared, and sung in moments of protest and hope. He believed music could unite strangers and give courage to the unheard. When voices join in one song, his spirit is still there, quietly reminding the world that change begins together. She carried elegance into every role, and behind the calm poise was a performer who quietly shaped decades of British cinema. Sylvia Syms was born on January 6, 1934, in Woolwich, London, England. Raised in a theatrical household, she attended the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, where her natural restraint and emotional clarity quickly set her apart from her peers. Her rise to fame came in the late 1950s, during a transformative period for British film. She gained international attention with the powerful drama Victim in 1961, starring opposite Dirk Bogarde. The film was groundbreaking, confronting homosexuality at a time when it was still illegal in the United Kingdom, and Sims's sensitive performance helped ground its message in humanity. Earlier, she had impressed audiences in Ice Cold in Alex and Woman in a dressing gown, earning critical acclaim for portraying complex women with quiet realism. Decades later, she introduced herself to a new generation through television, most notably as Peggy Mitchell's mother in EastEnders, proving her relevance never faded. Away from the camera, Sylvia Syms lived a life shaped by resilience. A lesser-known aspect of her story was her openness about personal hardship, including financial struggles later in life. She spoke candidly about the realities faced by aging actors, helping spark conversations about dignity, support, and recognition within the arts. Sylvia Syms died on January 27, 2023, at the age of 89. She passed away peacefully at her home in London after living with dementia. Her death marked the quiet departure of a performer whose influence was often felt more than loudly announced. The response was one of deep respect. Tributes poured in from fellow actors, critics, and fans who praised her bravery, grace, and contribution to socially important storytelling. British media revisited her most daring roles, reminding audiences how much courage they had required at the time. Today, Sylvia Syms is remembered as an actress who never needed excess to leave an impact. Her performances remain studied for their honesty and emotional restraint. She helped push British film forward, one thoughtful role at a time. And in every moment of stillness she brought to the screen, her legacy continues to speak. She could steal a scene with a single look, turning comedy into truth and drama into something quietly unforgettable. Cloris Leachman was born on April 30, 1926, in Des Moines, Iowa. As a young woman, she was crowned Miss Chicago and competed in the Miss America pageant, an early hint of her natural presence and confidence. Her rise to fame unfolded gradually but powerfully. In 1971, she won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for The Last Picture Show, delivering a performance filled with aching vulnerability. Soon after, television made her a household name. As Phyllis Lindstrom on the Mary Tyler Moore Show, she transformed an initially unlikable character into one of the most memorable figures in sitcom history. She later headlined Phyllis and conquered comedy film with roles in Young Frankenstein and High Anxiety, proving she could move effortlessly between sharp humor and raw emotion. Off-screen, Cloris Leachman was far more complex than her comedic image suggested. A lesser-known detail was her deep love for physical fitness. Well into her 70s and 80s, she practiced intense exercise routines and even appeared on Dancing with the Stars at age 82, becoming the oldest contestant in the show's history. Cloris Leachman died on January 27, 2021, at the age of 94. She passed away from complications of a stroke at her home in Encinitas, California. Her death closed the chapter on a career that had spanned nearly 8 decades. The reaction was immediate and emotional. Actors, directors, and fans flooded social media with tributes, calling her fearless, brilliant, and irreplaceable. Clips of her performances resurfaced everywhere, reminding the world how often she elevated every project she touched. Today, Cloris Leachman is remembered as one of the most versatile performers of her generation. With 8 Emmy Awards and an Oscar, her legacy lives on through characters that still feel alive, still make us laugh, and still break our hearts. Some performers entertain us. Cloris Leachman stayed with us long after the screen went dark. She carried silence like a language, and with a single glance, she could tell stories about love, memory, and loss. Emmanuelle Riva was born on February 24, 1927, in Chénimenil, a small village in the Vosges region of France. Raised by a seamstress mother, she discovered theater later than most, studying acting in Paris only after World War II had reshaped her world. Her rise to international fame came suddenly and indelibly in 1959. In Hiroshima Mon Amour, directed by Alain Resnais, Riva delivered a haunting performance that redefined cinematic intimacy and trauma. The film became a cornerstone of the French New Wave and made her face unforgettable worldwide. Decades later, she stunned audiences again in Michael Haneke's Amour in 2012, portraying an aging woman facing illness with devastating honesty. That role earned her an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress, making her one of the oldest nominees in the category's history, and confirmed her as a timeless force in cinema. Away from the spotlight, Emmanuelle Riva was known for her quiet, introspective nature. She avoided celebrity culture and preferred solitude, literature, and poetry. Few knew she was also a writer and photographer, publishing poetry that reflected the same restraint and emotional depth found in her performances. Emmanuelle Riva died on January 27, 2017, at the age of 89. She passed away from cancer in Paris, the city where her artistic life had truly begun and where her legacy quietly came full circle. The response was immediate and reverent. Filmmakers, critics, and actors across the world paid tribute to her rare ability to convey profound emotion with minimal words. Clips from Hiroshima, Mon Amour, and Amour resurfaced, reminding audiences how deeply she had shaped modern cinema. Today, Emmanuelle Riva is remembered as an actress who trusted stillness more than spectacle. She showed that vulnerability could be powerful, that aging could be cinematic, and that truth did not need embellishment. Her performances remain studied, admired, and felt. Some actors chase immortality. Emmanuelle Riva achieved it by whispering and letting the world lean in to listen. She crossed borders, languages, and eras, carrying elegance and resilience through a century shaped by exile, fame, and survival. Lily Palmer was born on May 24, 1914 in Posen, then part of the German Empire, today Poznan, Poland. Born into a Jewish family, she showed an early fascination with acting, performing in the school plays, while Europe edged closer to turmoil. Her career began on German stages in the early 1930s, but history intervened. As the Nazi regime rose, Palmer fled Germany, first to Paris and then to London, escaping persecution. In Britain, her talent quickly found recognition. She appeared in films like Cloak and Dagger and The Rake's Progress, becoming a familiar face to wartime audiences. After the war, she achieved international stardom, starring in acclaimed films such as Decision Before Dawn and Anastasia, working alongside major Hollywood and European stars. Her ability to act fluently in German, English, and French made her a rare bridge between film industries. Behind the glamour, Palmer lived a life marked by complexity. She was married to actor Rex Harrison for several years, a relationship filled with passion, but also strain. Lesser known is her love for writing. In later years, she became a successful author, publishing memoirs and novels that reflected deeply on exile, identity, and survival. Writing became her second stage, quieter, but just as revealing. Lily Palmer died on January 27, 1986, at the age of 71. She passed away from cancer in Los Angeles, far from her birthplace, but in a city that symbolized the international life she had built from displacement. News of her death prompted tributes across Europe and Hollywood. Colleagues remembered her intelligence, her sharp wit, and her refusal to be defined by tragedy. Film retrospectives revisited her work, highlighting not just her beauty, but her emotional precision and strength. Today, Lily Palmer is remembered as more than a film star. She stands as a symbol of artistic survival, a woman who lost her homeland, but never her voice. Her films remain documents of a turbulent century, and her books offer intimate testimony to resilience in exile. She did not merely escape history, she faced it, transformed it, and left behind a legacy that still speaks softly yet powerfully across time.